So good evening. Of course, I'm Sheriff T.K. Waters. This is Director Ed Cayenne from our Director of Homeland Security and Investigations. Our integrity unit also falls underneath him. That's why he's joining me up here this evening. Today, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is releasing information regarding the circumstances of William Anthony McNeil Jr.'s arrest on February 19th of 2025. Yesterday, while I was in church, JSO became aware that cell phone camera footage purportedly of this arrest was circulating on social media. At my direction, the agency immediately began both a criminal and administrative review of the officer's actions. These administrative reviews are ongoing, but the state attorney's office has determined that none of the involved officers violated criminal law. Even though the administrative review has yet to be completed, we are releasing the body-worn camera footage today because Officer Bowers has consented to its release and waived his officer's bill of rights pertaining to the discrete piece of evidence. Because the administrative review is pending, the officer's bill of rights prevents me from releasing any additional information beyond these videos, as it is confidential under Florida Statute 112.532. As JSO's leader, I have vowed to be open and transparent with the public that we serve. Whether the information shared reflects well in this agency or not, I have always done my very best to tell the public exactly what's going on within the agency. When there are allegations of officer misconduct, our agency thoroughly investigates those allegations. When allegations of officer misconduct are sustained, we hold officers accountable, as I've done many times in the past. In this case, the cell phone camera footage that began viral circulation over the weekend does not comprehensively capture the circumstances surrounding this incident, and that is to be expected. Part of that stems from the distance and perspective of the recording cell phone camera. Another part of it stems from the fact that the cell phone camera did not capture the events that preceded Officer Bowers' decision to arrest McNeil. Moreover, cameras can only capture what can be seen and heard. So much context and depth are absent from recorded footage because the camera simply cannot capture what is known to the people depicted in it. As a 33-year law enforcement officer, I understand the importance of thorough and complete investigations. One piece of evidence considered in a vacuum without any context can lead to skewed conclusions. When incomplete cell phone camera footage becomes the basis on which public opinion turns, the results can be equally faulty. A rush to judgment, whether it be in a criminal investigation or in a court of public opinion, can lead to flawed conclusions. Tonight, I'm sharing the footage from the body-worn cameras of the arresting officer, Officer D. Bowers, and two of the assisting officers, Officer D. Miller and Officer G. Curse, so that the public has more complete understanding of this incident. Before I deliver the currently available information and play the relevant body-worn camera, I want to be clear about something. Yes, there absolutely was force used by the arresting officers, and yes, that force is ugly. But as I've said many times before, the reality is that all force, all violence is ugly. And just because force is ugly does not mean it's unlawful or contrary to policy. But moreover, I want to provide the public with some background information pertinent to this incident.
All right, peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. That is Sheriff TKKK, I won't say nothing else, TK Waters, before he explains or shows the body cam footage of 22-year-old William Mcneil being punched, thrown to the ground, and beaten by officers during a traffic stop over a debatable headlight violation. Now, I'm going to show you how he tries to paint the narrative of this situation. But if you listen to him talking about the video that was circulated, how it doesn't have any context, so from the distance and the perspective, it could give a skewed angle without the context. Y'all just watch this video and tell me if there's anything wrong with the context when you see this, when you see what happens to this young black man.
When he pulled me over, he walked up, opened my door because my window don't work, right? And then I said, so what I did wrong? Yeah. He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like, okay. There's multiple people headlights off, first of all. And then there's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor? Huh? Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hand.
Here. I'm here. What is your reason, sir? What is your reason? Step out now. All right. No.
Fight. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
All right. And so that is the context that the sheriff is talking about. What you don't see is the officers continue to beat him while he's on the ground and in handcuffs. And they're calling this none of this violated criminal law. The officer agreed to release the footage. Now, mind you, it's come out that the officer has had 8 infractions of excessive use of force in his past. So we'll probably dive in that, later on. But just listen to, once again, how this sheriff tries to paint the narrative and deflect from the beating that the guy took, talking about other things that have nothing to do with the police's behavior.
Since January 1st, 2025, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has been involved in 38,805 traffic stops. Even as I speak, that number is climbing. The overwhelming majority of these tens of thousands of traffic stops were made without incident. After this traffic stop on February 19, 2025, McNeil was arrested for resisting a police officer without violence, driving on a suspended driver's license, and possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana. On February 20th, 2025, McNeil pled guilty to and was adjudicated guilty of resisting a police officer without violence and driving on a suspended driver's license. Those pleas of guilty were accepted by a local judge who found them to have been factual basis and to have been voluntarily made by McNeil. After the resolution of this criminal case, McNeil took custody of his cell phone, the one he presumably used to record the footage that was shared on social media, on March 5th, 2025. At no time, February to now, did McNeil contact JSO to file a complaint, nor share with the agency the cell phone footage that is circulated on social media. As I said earlier, immediately upon becoming aware of this footage, JSO began a criminal and administrative investigations into the incident. Had McNeil filed a complaint, JSO would have started this investigation at that time. But we were not aware of this allegation or of improper use of force before this weekend. As this is agency's pattern of practice in any circumstances of use of force, the relevant body-worn camera footage was reviewed by multiple levels of supervision. However, as you'll see in short order, the body-worn camera footage does not capture Officer Bauer's response to resistance when McNeil was seated in the driver's seat. As I explained, although the state attorney's office has deemed it not criminal, the response to resistance is now subject of a pending administrative review to determine if Bauer's conduct violated JSO policy. The law requires that a person comply with the police officer's commands during a traffic stop. This is extremely important. There are not options. If you disagree, take care of it someplace else, but not on the side of the road. No one enjoys being the subject of a traffic stop. And there are times in which citizens dispute circumstances of their stops. But the law is clear. A person must comply with an officer's commands, even if that person disagrees with that officer's reason for the stop. Within 21 seconds of his civil stop or civil traffic infractions, driving without illuminated headlights during the rain or failure to wear a seatbelt, McNeil refused to provide stopping officers with his driver's license and registration. 14 seconds later, he locked his car door and refused to exit the vehicle, despite being told many times that he was under arrest. Moreover, McNeil was warned 7 times that he needed to open the door and exit because he was under arrest for resisting an officer without violence, or police would be forced to break his car window. Soon after McNeil was outside his car, officers found a large, unsheathed serrated knife on the driver's side floorboard. Now I'll play relevant portions of the body-worn camera of the 3 officers, Officer Bowers, the stopping and arresting officer, Officer Miller, the second responding officer who spoke to McNeil from the passenger side of the vehicle, and Officer Curse, one of the assisting officers.
All right, before we see that video footage, once again, this sheriff is already defending and criminalizing the young man, talking about, he was found to have marijuana. He was charged with resisting arrest and driving on a suspended license, but not the seatbelt violation, which the officer originally originally stop him for, or the driving without headlights. That needs to be noted. And it happened in January, and he pled guilty in February, which in my opinion that, they hurried up and moved the case on, made him plead guilty. So this would all be over with and the video wouldn't come out. Now, of course, he released the video, and now we have this whirlwind regarding the situation. But, the chief trying to downplay all force is ugly. All force is ugly, but it's not unlawful. And you must comply no matter what. You take it up with them. But nothing addresses the violence that was perpetrated on this man by police. Just watch this relevant part of the video that they're saying, meaning we're just going to show you parts that agree with our narrative. Let's continue.
Absolutely, the reason why I'm pulling over. One, they put why they turn their lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt. It's not ready. Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. Excuse me? I already told you. How do you pull me over? Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. I'm sorry for not for the night for me. Driver just slamming the door and locked it. Yeah. If anybody responding, tell me if they follow up and walk away with this. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Sir, it's your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit, or we are going to break the window. No, he's under arrest. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Put the window down, flashlight, and talk to You. I was putting my hands behind my back. I was going calm down, man. Ain't no talking. You're under arrest.
All right, so what you don't see in that video, once again, is the officer punching him in the face while he's sitting on the car, or the officer punching him and slamming his head up against the door while he's out of the car. But you do see his head being pressed in the ground while other officers punch him in the back as well. So a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, he should have complied. He shouldn't have shut the door. He should have got out of the car. I am under the impression, once again, why is he being placed on arrest for resisting? He didn't give him his ID. That's not an arrestable offense. He's involved in a traffic stop. He asked for a supervisor. In my opinion, the guy should have called a supervisor. But once again, it is the questioning of law enforcement that challenges their small egos and gets their panties, their pink panties, all up in a bunch. And so this still doesn't justify them punching the man after they break the window. Let's look at this other body camera unless the police tries to justify this even more.
What you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do that. Resisting, idiot. I didn't do that. Came back up to the motherfucker.
Rescue. It's a decided. Approximately 3 years old. Probably my last race to that. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All those officers for a traffic stop. What is the reason?
You were him. Okay.
It's be Officer Miller.
Can you unlock the door and step out? I will. Can you step out? You're being done. There's a traffic stop being conducted. You're required to comply. So, yes. Correct. Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess called you?
He pulled me over.
Yeah.
My window don't work.
Oh yeah.
And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like,
Okay.
there's multiple people here.
Okay, that's still a legitimate reason to pull somebody over.
There's no way.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on. Huh? Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will. Huh? All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hand.
Investigation 33 at 16
What's your reason, sir? What is your reason?
Step out now.
All right. No.
Hands your back. We said straight behind your back.
What's wrong with you? 2574, let's hit 31. Yes, sir.
Stop. You're under arrest.
Yes, bro. Yes.
So your partner didn't even ask your partner?
Right pocket.
Yes, it is. So why close the door if you see him pull up?
Because, man, what do you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, but I didn't do nothing wrong.
Resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
Camera rolling, man.
Get back up and talk like you know.
After he calls him an idiot, you see his partner say, hey, man, the camera's rolling, man. You know, trying to hide their normal treatment or their normal vernacular towards people and how they treat them.
I did. You did? I know. You should have put some gloves on, bro.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here. Huh? What? The knife? Yeah, that's it.
Now they're going to try to justify that treatment because he has a knife. He never weaponized that knife, as his lawyer pointed out the other day.
Four sticks. From you.
Yeah, see that knife?
Yeah. That's one of the days.
I'm going to fast forward this.
Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the cell phone camera footage that he had in his possession since March 5th out on social media, one can only assume, and I'm saying I assume, that he intended to inflame the public. The administrative process is still ongoing, and as such, I will neither defend nor commend Officer Bauer's response to resistance until all the facts are known and the investigation is completed. However, as the leader of this agency, I will not remain silent while important facts and information are buried to advance an anti-police agenda. The truth is, William Mcneil Jr. was non-compliant with JSO officers within 21 seconds after he was stopped for multiple civil infractions. His non-compliance quickly rose to the level of criminal resistance to a police officer. McNeil was arrested and pled guilty to resisting a police officer without violence. Force absolutely looks ugly. And because all force is ugly, whether or not the officer involved acted within outside JSO policy, that's still what we're investigating. The state attorney's office, once again, has reviewed the case materials and determined that Officer Bauer's actions are not criminal. Now, JSO will conduct a thorough investigation to determine whether Officer Bauer's acted appropriately with respect to JSO policy. When an officer does wrong, and I think every one of you know this and everyone that's listening, I will stand up here and tell you straight. And likewise, when officers justifiably use force, I'll stand up here also and I'll tell you straight. I ask the public for its patience as the administrative process is completely, competently completed. Once we've determined whether Officer Bowers acted within policy or not, I will immediately share that determination with the public. Out of an abundance of caution, pending the outcome of this administrative review, Officer Bowers has been stripped of his law enforcement authority. effective immediately. All video footage presented in this briefing is available on all JSO social media platforms, YouTube, and JSO's transparency page. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have right now.
All right, so there we have Sheriff KKK Waters, basically not condemning or defending the actions, but what he is criminalizing is the young man, saying he was not compliant, and his video was meant to inflame the public. So the cops beating him without the video wouldn't have inflamed the public. So you meant to hide the beating of that man. That's also, well noted that, the cops didn't put all the information in the report. They tried to say he grabbed for the knife. They did a lot of lying in that report until the video came out. Hence, here we are 6 months later having these discussions. So once again, everybody knows, everybody has been going in on Sheriff KKKoon, Waters. They, DL Hughley, a lot of people have been going on them. But then you got people justifying and saying, hey, if he would have did this, that wouldn't have happened. Two things can be true at the same time. Yes, maybe he shouldn't have closed the door. Maybe he shouldn't have asked, or he should have asked. I'm not saying, but that does not excuse the fact that this officer acted violently, unprofessionally, and I think criminally in assaulting this young man as he opened the door. What was the reason for punching him in the face? What was the reason for punching him again as his hands were behind his back standing up? And what was the reason for punching him numerous times while he was on the ground? What does that have to do with the other? Now, people always say, well, if he wouldn't have did that, that wouldn't have happened. Now, let's say somebody breaks in my house and steals $100, right? They're wrong, right? But if I go find that person and kill him, his family, his mother, his children, his dogs, his cousins, and nobody would say, well, he shouldn't have stole the $100, right? They would immediately take me to jail for my crimes. So that is what I see when I see people excusing what they saw just because he didn't comply or he rolled down his window or whatever. He didn't bow down and kowtow. He didn't step and fetch it. He didn't say, yes, sir, master. You can't excuse that behavior by the officers by his not complying. Two things can be true. He should have complied and that officer is in the wrong. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this ongoing situation in the comments. Y'all see my number, 919-587-7782. It's a shame when we have black officers out there participating in that assault as well and being a perpetuation of some of the treatment that we've experienced in this country as black people. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, 919-587-7782. Thank y'all for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing to the video. As always, peace and blessings.